and adored or loved by the population of the GB.
But everyone in that group was talented in different ways, you know.
Hey, what happened to these cats?
Kenny had been a mate of ours from the Beatle days, and he'd toured with us in the early Beatles tours. So he was great. I think he was the first black guy that I really got to know. So we were very good friends, and Kenny's funny.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
The trouble is that bloody light behind.
Linda started coming up, popping off photographs and all that, and we were changing to get into these prisoners' uniforms and all that. And me and James were doing all that, you know, oh, don't take with me. We were like shy little girls and all that.
Anybody want to come in with me? Hey, Steve, what? Peace. 20 years he's been after my body. This is the chest episode. This is ridiculous. He had the 61, the leg or the waist.
Christopher we'd known from the first early Beatle days. I think he was making a vampire movie next door when we were making...
It's funny how you just keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
Like how serendipity
Well,
just works
and also
out.
he's great music, man. He's very into his music. I think he'd released a record. I think he sings. But, you know, so I kind of had known him a long time.
What I love about that shoot of all the little kids,
Yeah.
who now, like, obviously, Stella's there, I think, in the little hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Parky's kids were there. But it was a nice thing. I think, you know, they know us. They know I'm going to bring the kids.
Yeah.
So they just bring theirs and stuff. And we posed for Polaroids and stuff with the kids and stuff.
You've got John Conteh, who I always remember as a kid.
We used to go and see his fights, so we were kind of fans. So we got to know him. And he'd been a Liverpool guy, and he was champ. That was a good combination.
All my hard work was over. I'd won the world title at Wembley. So everything was like a roller coaster then. It was wonderful, easy, it was terrific, and you were involved with all these great people and famous people and great situation. It was just a great honour and privilege to be invited.
Mr. Coleman, thank you. That's great. Lift your arm up a little bit higher. Paul.
It was all Paul's origination, but I obviously set them all in the shape they were in.
Ready? Freeze!
When they were all ready, I just had to keep on telling them and put them in the position. You hold that, Denny, you look out like this, Paul like that, and all the various, you know, and sort of attempt to give them the expressions. But once they got hold of it, I needed to have a very long exposure because the spotlight that I thought was bright was not very bright, so everybody had to stay still for 1.5 seconds. And so they wouldn't stay very still.
I can remember my hand on the wall and taking direction of Clive Arrowsmith with his megaphone and him saying, now, be very still, be very still.
And you really must stay very still for that 1 second, please.
I mean, you can imagine, you know, you have all these iconic figures at the time where you're your heroes and everybody having fun and nobody realising that, you know, you've got to get it on film. You've got to get it.
OK, we're reloading now. If you can all adopt the same positions again.
I think I took about 4 rolls of 12 exposures and now only 5 or 4 frames were OK. And then it was the light I used went all yellow because I'd used daylight film and it was an artificial tungsten light, so everything went yellow. And then Paul said, oh, I love the yellow light, it's great. I didn't say anything then. No, it worked out very well, but I was really in turmoil because I'd used the wrong kind of film.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much. It was really great. You really look like you're doing the picture.
Everybody asks me about Band on the Run. Everywhere I go, in America, France, people stop me. Everywhere in the world I go, even I've had it in Japan, everywhere. That's how big the album is, and people still buy it.
Band on the Run was a slow burner when it first came out and didn't set the world alight until a single from the album was released in February 1974. Jet would become an international bestseller. A commercially successful song, certainly, but one with obscure lyrics. What did it all mean? Search the internet, and it seems it might be about a dog. So, what's the real story? Jet, named after a dog.
Well, it was actually named after a pony, Jet. Yeah, we had a little pony for the kids in Scotland. It was called Jet. You know, the truth is, that's just a starting point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking...
Well, I'm glad about that.
Yeah. What, a pony marrying whose father is like a sergeant major? No. No, that's what I often do, and I think that does puzzle people a bit. You know, I need somewhere to start. So, yeah, Jet was a pony in Scotland, and then it morphed into a girl with marital troubles.
You know what I love? There's probably thousands of aspiring songwriters watching this now going, that's how he does it. Great.
Yeah, that's sometimes how I do it. I'm also intelligent, occasionally.
Is that the way you've always written songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very much how I write. 'Cause I remember talking to George Harrison once, whose songs tended to be more personal. And he was just saying, what's that? Maxwell Silverhammer or Eleanor Rigby? What's that about you? Do you know so? I said, no, I'm just making it up. It's just my method.
Coming up in the final part of the amazing story of Band on the Run. Paul McCartney on being more than just a former Beatle, and the enduring legacy of Wings.
There was a period, you know, early Wings, where you'd be playing Wings stuff and everyone would be going, well, what's that, you know? Give us Yesterday.
First question.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, 33 and a third.
33 and a third.
LP speed.
Exactly. This is gig number 4. How are you enjoying it?
Fine, thank you.
You're loving it?
Yes, I haven't done number 4 yet, but number 3 was fine.
Number 3 was fine. And number 2?
Number 1 and 2.
Band on the Run put Paul McCartney and Wings back at the very top of the charts. From a slow start, it made it to number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic. In America, it reached the top spot on 3 separate occasions and stayed in the charts for nearly 2.5 years. The album's success encouraged Wings to embark on what would become a massive worldwide tour. 3 continents, 66 shows, and seen by over 1 million people. Going back to some of the tracks, what do you have favourites?
I like Let Me Roll It. We play that. Nice thing about Let Me Roll It for me is having a sort of distinctive guitar riff. We used to do a lot of riffs in the Beatles, and it's not easy to keep coming up with them. But that down, boom, cha, and then there's nothing for it. And it down, boom.
Yeah.
It's kind of very theatrical, quite dramatic, and it's great to play because you sort of wind the amp up and stand. Anyway, so it's kind of the theatrical thing of that I like. And then the song, it's a kind of slightly dramatic quality where I used an echo that John used to use a lot. So people thought the vocal sound was a bit like John Lennon. It's the echo that you're hearing.
You must get a lot of pleasure now playing live and playing songs from that era. and them still getting a great reception. I mean, I saw you last year at the O2. You know, a few of the songs off Band on the Run got a great reception.
Yeah, it is good. There was a period, you know, early Wings, where you'd be playing Wing stuff and everyone would be going, well, what's that, you know? Give us Yesterday. You know, so it's nice when finally when these songs come, not only do they come through and become popular, they become some people's favourites.
Yeah.
Because there's another generation like you.
Absolutely.
That kind of grew up on that stuff. So that there are people, you know, who are saying to me, you know, let me roll it. And you play it and you see they get it and they love it and they go into, they're off, you know. So it's not like, oh, they're pretending.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
not like they're waiting for the next track, you know, that they're actually into it.
Oh, yeah, I love them. Time to get a beer.
The title track for the album Band on the Run was and still is a massive crowd pleaser at McCartney's live shows. And in 1974, it gave Wings another #1 single in the US.
For me, Band on the Run, I think round about that time, there was a sort of spirit amongst the young people of like getting away, vigilantes, desperados. There were records coming out a bit like that. And I think that was me doing a nod to that kind of thing. It was a nice idea, sort of breaking out, you know, and we're stuck inside somewhere, these four walls, and then the song could break out, and then it could get more sort of fantasy into it. But it was imaginary. It's not really based on anything I actually knew.
Looking back now, what is it, 36 years?
Something like that.
Where does this rate in your how important is this album in your career?
Well, I think it's important for me because it was really the first time we had a big hit. And so it was important for Wings. It introduced Wings to a lot of people, to the new generation of people, who now will talk about it as kind of an iconic album for them. Whereas I often think Sgt. Pepper. But I was doing an interview with a younger guy who said, well, I said, no, you know, it's
You're
not
looking
really
at him
Sgt.
seriously.
Pepper. Yeah.
Exactly
And that kind of
that.
took me by surprise and going, no, surely Sgt. Pepper, you know. Band on the Run's my one.
Yeah.
So that was nice, especially after we'd been trying to be the band after the Beatles. So finally we made it, you know, and then after that we went on tour in America, 1976, had a big success there. So that was really the start of Wings' success. So it's special for that reason for me.
You wanna give your love away and end up giving nothing. I'm not surprised that you're...
Band on the Run remains an enduring success story for Paul McCartney. And if making the album was at times a challenge, McCartney's ambition and stubbornness paid off. Do you think with Band on the Run, it's the fact that they didn't show, the fact that, you know, everyone was waiting for the album that it was, the fact that what happened in Lagos made it the album it was, and the sort of, you know, the vibrance that Linda brought to it, and the sort of backs against the wall spirit almost?
Yeah, I think all of those things are what made the album. I think if we'd have stayed in London and gone to our normal studio, might have been an okay album, might have been a good album. But the fact that we were in a strange place with strange things happening, there was now only 3 of us in the band instead of 5. We had to work around all these circumstances, and we had to like incorporate all of this into the album now. Suddenly we were like forced to, no choice.
I'm a jailer man and Sailor Sam was searching everyone for the band on the run. Band on the run.
And I'm sure it wasn't the motivating factor, but to be able to turn around to people who not written you off as such, but just said, well, where is it? You know, when's it going to come? To go, it's here.
Very satisfying. But it is, you know, it's great when people say, that's it, finished, he's had it, you know, no more there. And you go, well, check this one out, you know. Nice.
Leaving the city behind for a new life in an isolated country cottage is a decision one family will come to regret. A manipulative mother-in-law rules the little house, brand new here on ITV1, tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Next tonight, the body counts rising and Chandler and the team are faced with no option but to play the craze at their own game in the last in the series of Whitechapel.